Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more Los Angeles Lakers news, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. The Lakers have been struggling a lot due to several injured players, and this is affecting the team. We hope that everyone will be healthy for the playoffs. The player Rui Hachimuira has suffered some injuries this season, and to the surprise of the Lakers fans, the player himself stated in an interview that he is not recovered and will only be able to get healthy for the next season. Therefore, Rui Hachimuira has played some games without being healthy and his injury is getting worse and he will miss many games. Rui Hachimuira will not be recovered this season due to the very serious injury he suffered. Let's take a closer look at Rui Hachimuira's injury to understand his recent comments on his injury and minutes restriction with the Lakers. Rui Hachimuira recently returned after nearly a month out with patellar tendinopathy, aka jumper's knee. On Wednesday, after coming off the bench his first 2 games, he rejoined the starting lineup against the Pacers and played a crucial role down the stretch. Although Rui has looked expectedly rusty after his time off and continues to find his rhythm and fitness on the court, he gave some recent comments on his injury that may have given some fans pause. "It's like 70–80%, Hachimuira said. "My knee's going to be like that for a while, I think. I can't really get back to 100% right away. I got to rest for like a long time to get back to my normal, we just go to maintain and manage it." On the surface, that obviously sounds disconcerting, but once you understand some of the injury rehabilitation specifics, it will make sense why that is the case. If you want a more general understanding of the injury, you can read the piece I wrote on it here. The key thing to understand with Rui's injury, and this really applies to all tendon management, is that tendons are very sensitive to load because of what they're asked to do for the body and how often they're asked to do it. Tendons have an elasticity to them that is unique compared to other body structures because they have to stretch, elongate, which builds up energy and then releases that energy as they then shorten, compress. It's akin to a spring-like mechanism. Hachimuira aggravated the tendon while jumping and landing on a fast break, which makes sense because the tendon similarly has to store energy while the knee bends and release energy into the jump and then, again, has to store energy upon landing. Due to these unique demands and constant asks, in-season patellar rehab is about constantly balancing activity with rest and treatment. That management exists on a continuum. You don't want the tendon to get to the really angry stages of being constantly reactive. But at the same time, you also know that to properly rehab the tendon, you need a much longer rest period and methodical ramp-up that isn't realistic during the season. Think of this balance like pouring water into a bucket. Activity pours water into the bucket while rest, and, to some extent, treatment, takes water out of the bucket. If that bucket overflows, the tendon is overloaded and you have a major issue. If there's space in the bucket, you have space for more activity and loading. J.J. Redick, Lakers very confident in Jordan Goodwin after signing him to standard NBA contract. The Los Angeles Lakers are in the thick of the playoff race as the Western Conference standings are changing almost every day. The Lakers have had a relatively strong showing since the All-Star break ended, though are starting to show signs of wear and tear near the end of the 2024-25 season. The team's schedule has been brutal as they had to endure a stretch of 6 games in 8 nights and are currently playing every other day. With so many games bunched up, head coach J.J. Redick has had to get creative with players' minutes. One bright spot during this run has been Jordan Goodwin, who endeared himself to the coaching staff and his teammates with his hustle, grit and physicality, especially on the defensive end. Los Angeles recognized Goodwin's play and rewarded him by signing him to a standard NBA contract following Cam Reddish's release. That allows him to be playoff eligible. Prior to the game against the Chicago Bulls, Redick discussed what Goodwin brings to the Lakers and how excited they are to have him, via Kobe Price of the Southern California News Group. Just his competitive spirit, his toughness. "I joked with him in the morning, he can't get soft on us now. He's been a banshee for us since he's been with us on the two-way and has provided not just the attitude, the toughness on the court, but he's played some really good basketball for us. We're very confident in him." Goodwin signed his two-way contract midway through the regular season but immediately got rotation minutes with the team struggling with some injuries. It didn't take long for Goodwin to earn more minutes as his defensive tenacity and versatility made him an easy player to slot in any lineups. While he might not be a very polished defensive threat, Goodwin's a credible three-point shooter who has been willing to let it fly when opposing teams leave him open. However, his best trait might be his nose for the basketball, as he always seems to be in the right place to make a play on the floor. Goodwin should continue to serve as a key member off the bench, and it'll be interesting to see if he can still have the same impact once the playoffs roll around. Austin Reaves feels Lakers need to communicate better on defense. The Lakers' defense has predictably slipped amidst this rough stretch in the schedule, but Austin Reaves wouldn't make excuses for the team. Instead, he said the Lakers need to communicate better on defense despite any fatigue. Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel? It's the best way to watch player interviews, exclusive coverage from events, participate in live shows, and more. ESPN NBA analyst believes the Los Angeles Lakers are already in trouble. Struggling Lakers are moving down the standings. The Los Angeles Lakers suffered their fourth loss over the last 5 games on Thursday night thanks to Josh Giddey's half-court heroics. Not so long ago they looked like the most dangerous team in the Western Conference on the combined powers of LeBron James and Luka Doncic. Now it's looking as though it will be a battle for them to secure home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Gone are the excited television segments likening the dynamic duo to all-time Lakers pairings and laying the groundwork for a victory parade through the streets of Los Angeles. They've given way to something a bit more sobering. The Lakers are in trouble, Kendrick Perkins said on Friday's First Take. That was a game last night that they needed to win and they was supposed to win. And J.J. Redick was right. It's devastating not just because the way that they lost but because he's looking into the near future. They're 2.5 games back from being in the play-in tournament. And have you seen the team that they have to face in the next couple of weeks? Perkins then ticked through a brutal closing stretch the Lakers must navigate in order to maintain their standing, let alone improve it. He mentioned Doncic is still playing his way back into shape, which is a major problem considering James also has some health issues. Look, there's no doubt the Lakers are trending backwards. Lakers' playoff path suddenly opens up after big coaching blunder by West rival. With 9 games left in the regular season, the Los Angeles Lakers are sitting in 4th place in the Western Conference. They are currently tied with the Memphis Grizzlies with a 44-29 record and are 1.5 games behind the 3rd-seeded Nuggets and 2.5 games ahead of the 6th-seeded Clippers. This means that the most likely first-round opponent of the Lakers is the Grizzlies. The two teams face off against each other on Saturday in a game with massive playoff seeding implications. Ahead of that clash, however, ESPN's Shams Charania dropped the stunning news that Memphis fired head coach Taylor Jenkins on Friday. Taylor Jenkins was called into the Grizzlies' office this morning and was fired in person, sources tell ESPN. Stunning dismissal. Jenkins now becomes one of the top head coaching candidates for the upcoming cycle. He had a .539 winning percentage as Grizzlies coach. This comes as a big surprise, as Jenkins has been with the team for 6 seasons and was on pace for his 3rd 50-win season. He is considered to be one of the most innovative and talented young head coaches in the league. Despite star point guard Ja Morant missing 30 games this season, Jenkins led the Grizzlies to the 5th best net rating in the league. They are top 10 in both offense and defense, despite lacking elite talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball, especially when Morant is unavailable. This decision raises questions about what may have gone down behind the scenes, since the on-court product certainly doesn't warrant a firing with 9 games left before the playoffs. It's not clear whether we will find out more details about that, but one thing is clear: the Lakers will benefit greatly from this decision. As things stand now, the Lakers have the 3rd best odds, plus 750, in the Western Conference to make the NBA Finals, per FanDuel Sportsbook. A potentially easier first-round series against the Grizzlies, who will have a new interim head coach in charge, should help keep the Lakers fresh for the rest of their postseason run. J.J. Redick's one word to describe Lakers' shocking loss to Bulls. Robert Marvey. LeBron Wire. Winning a basketball game on a half-court shot at the buzzer carries one of the most exhilarating feelings anyone can ever experience. But losing a basketball game in that fashion is like getting hit in the gut by a military-grade rocket. The latter happened to the Los Angeles Lakers on Thursday when they led the Chicago Bulls by as many as 18 points early in the fourth quarter and by 5 with 12.1 seconds left, only to almost literally give the game away. Patrick Williams hit a three-pointer, and LeBron James then threw the ensuing inbounds pass away to Josh Giddey, quickly leading to a three-pointer by Kobe White. After Austin Reeves scored what seemed to be the game-winning basket with 3.1 seconds left, the Lakers lazily guarded the Bulls as they inbound the basketball and watched as Giddey hit the game winner just before the buzzer from about 47 feet out. Head coach J.J. Redick had one simple word to describe how it felt afterward. Via ESPN. Devastation, Redick said after the loss. It's a hell of a way to lose a basketball game. In the end, the Lakers didn't lose just because of those miscues in the final seconds. They lost because Luka Doncic shot just 8 of 22 from the field after scoring over 30 points in each of the previous 4 games. They lost because they got out-rebounded by 8. They lost because they gave up a whopping 44 points on 15 of 19 from the field and 11 of 14 from three-point range in the fourth quarter. Give up 44, no matter how many points you put up, it's not good ingredients for success, James said. I mean, 11 of 14 in an empty gym is really good, Redick said. So that's unreal shooting. Los Angeles has had several inexcusable losses this season. While it luckily remains in 4th place in the Western Conference with a 44-29 record, the 5th-place Memphis Grizzlies also have a 44-29 record, and finishing 5th would likely mean not having home court advantage in any round of the playoffs, not to mention a very difficult first-round playoff opponent. LA will play the Grizzlies on Saturday to end its 4-game road trip. It will then return home and face the Houston Rockets, who are in 2nd place, on Monday, and the revitalized Golden State Warriors, who have won 16 of their last 21 games, on Thursday.